Although the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So Democratic lawmakers are full steam ahead with this impeachment proceeding going against Donald Trump due to his conversation that happened with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky via phone call, which was actually dated July 25th. Now that we have the rough transcript of this phone call having been released today. What a rough transcript is, I don't fucking know. At the end of the day, it's either telling what it's saying or it's not, or it's redacted or it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what we're gonna get down to the bottom of that. Nevertheless, though, in this transcript, it shows that Trump used the $400 million in military aid that was supposed to go to or scheduled to go to Ukraine that actually got cut off. He used that aid, which Zelensky said he was actually going to use and was interested in purchasing Javelin anti-tank missiles from the U.S. in order to fight off the Russian-backed separatists in the Ukraine. That he actually so Trump used this to actually assuage Zelensky to launch an investigation in cahoots with William Barr, our Attorney General, and Rudy Giuliani, former New York City mayor and Trump's current personal lawyer, to launch this investigation against Joe Biden and his son, who actually sits on the board of the largest natural gas company out there in the Ukraine. So a lot of people see this as treasonous, because it is at the end of the day. The whistleblower complaint that actually started this is actually being released as well. And it turns out that it was a CIA official that launched this initial complaint that ended up being hidden and withheld by J. Joseph Maguire, the acting director of national intelligence. And acting director shows that he was handpicked by them motherfucking Republicans, I think by Trump himself. So that lets you know what type of time motherfuckers is on. Green Wall and Graduation. Although the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So keep in mind that the whistleblower complaint that was filed against Donald Trump that actually showed him trying to set up some shady deal with Volodymyr Zelensky, or get a shady favor out of Ukrainian President Zelensky to actually launch an investigation against Joe Biden and his son, which is, seen as very treasonous. It turns out this whistleblower complaint is actually being released today, and the acting director of national intelligence, Joseph Maguire, who actually hid it, is actually testifying against Congress today. We'll be sure to update you on what happened with that situation tomorrow. But also keep in mind that Trump was speaking at the UN General Assembly, basically saying, like, the witch hunt continues. He didn't do anything improper. Impeachment for that. Not really taking it very seriously, but out of the House of Representatives, at least 217 lawmakers are in support of an impeachment inquiry, including one independent Congress member, but it would need 20 Republican senators to actually convict Trump. That's 2/3 of the majority of senators to convict Trump and remove him from office with this impeachment procedure. So, we'll see what happens. Stay tuned to the soap opera. Green Wall and Graduation. The Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Sign that petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the change.org link in the video description. You watching this on YouTube, or just go straight to change.org and check it out. Now, Hassan Rouhani, the Iranian president, actually spoke at the United Nations General Assembly yesterday, basically saying, despite what might have been said by U.S. politicians or anything like that, by Trump and Mike Pompeo and all of that, Iran will not negotiate with the United States for as long as they have sanctions against them that are designed to, like, weaken Iran. You actually say, like, we're not going to respond to any negotiations that are being, like, we're not responding to, like, pressure or, them trying to make us weak, or, poverty, that being used as weapons against us. I'm paraphrasing. But he did say that he showed a lot of vulnerability in saying that Iran is actually on the verge of collapse, and a single blunder can fuel a fire. Now, he also, keep in mind that last Friday, Trump actually imposed sanctions against Iran's central bank and other financial institutions while deploying troops to Saudi Arabia. So it looked like a showdown about to go down. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So over in Yemen, actually in the southwest, there were airstrikes that took place that actually killed 16 people, 7 of them being children. There was graphic video that was actually shared on social media showing, the bodies of the children actually, and showed people preparing mass graves. It's horrible. This area that was actually struck was actually a Houthi-controlled residential area, and this comes less than a week since the Houthi rebels actually claimed responsibility for the attacks on the Saudi oil facility that was said to have hurt a lot of the oil production in that company, and has actually been blamed on Iran by the U.S., by Saudi Arabia, by the U.K., Germany, and France. Nonetheless, Houthi leaders have actually said that they would cease fire on their missile strikes against Saudi Arabia if they would do the same. But we know that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Green Wall and Graduation. We'll go to Bishop Grady Lane. Y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So I've been keeping y'all up to date with what's been going on in Israel. I told y'all initially how the elections for the prime minister seat in parliament actually led to initially it seemed like ex-military chief and leader of the blue and white party, Benny Gantz, had actually edged the Likud party's frontrunner and two-time prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the prime minister seat. But it actually turns out that they were deadlocked. So right now the president of Israel, Reuven Rivlin, he's actually instructing the prime minister, the current prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to form a new coalition government. He wants him to form a government with Benny Gantz. Now, they tried to have talks about this on Tuesday night, but talks failed. Benny Gantz had previously said that he didn't want to form, he refused to form a coalition government with Netanyahu. But now it seems like Netanyahu's under the gun. He has 28 days to form a coalition government. We'll see what happens. Green Wall and Graduate. The new world order, Bishop Grady Lane. Y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So in Bolivia, environmentalists are actually warning that 2 million wild animals have actually died, including jaguars and pumas, due to fires that apparently really have not been detained since May, have increased since up until August or whatever, ravaging through forests and grassland throughout Bolivia, which is in South America. Now, this it also has hit Bolivia's tropical savanna. Now, keep this in mind as it said that 10 million acres of forest and grassland in Bolivia have actually been burnt since they started they seem to start in May. And in general, in the Amazon basin, there's been 200,000 fires actually burning at least about 29 million acres of land, but that's mostly taking place in Brazil, because as we know about these Amazon fires that have been happening and are still continuing today. So everybody stay woke. You know I'm out of Green Wall and Graduation. So the Bishop Grady Lane, y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Sign that petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can even go to change.org and look up Get Donald Trump on Twitter, spelled exactly how it sounds, lays out exactly why it should be removed from the platform, and it was created by Bishop Grady. Irrefutable evidence on why it should be removed, including violating Twitter policies, putting us U.S. truth people abroad in danger. Now, moving on, over in Italy, you have Mount Blanc, which actually has a glacier sitting on top of it with 9 million cubic feet of ice, and it's currently expected to break and collapse. So Italian authorities have actually gotten neighboring communities and to evacuate. They're closing off roads around it. Stefano Misarocci, he's actually the mayor of Cormeia, which is a neighboring town, partially evacuated, who basically said that this is definitely due to global warming. The temperatures around the mountain have actually increased over the years, and it's less rain in the winter. So people evacuating. Keep in mind that, we understand that these last 5 years are the hottest years on record. Green Wall and Graduation. We'll do the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Over in San Francisco, California, 7 protesters were actually arrested after they formed a blockade blocking entrance into a Wells Fargo building. Now, they joined 100 other climate activists who actually were in the business and government district, the financial district, basically disrupting traffic and calling for banks and government to actually divest from fossil fuel companies. Green Wall and Graduation. We'll do the Bishop Grady Lane. Y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So over in London, England, you actually have 4 medical doctors that super glued themselves to a government building, pardon me. These medical doctors were taking part in the protest by Extinction Rebellion in order to urge government to make a move on climate change. This group is planning on, well, they've done a lot. I've reported on them in the past, but they're actually planning on shutting down parts of central London in order to, for 2 weeks in October, in order to bring awareness and pressure government to make a move on climate change. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Sign that petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. Find the change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or go straight to change.org and look up Get Donald Trump off Twitter, done by Bishop Grady. It lays out exactly why he should be removed from that platform, including violating Twitter policies, putting us, U.S. troops, and people abroad in danger. Irrefutable evidence. So check it out before you start fucking hating. Now check this out. Over in Oaxaca, Mexico, in this southern state, their lawmakers actually passed a bill that allows for abortion for the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. So this is a big deal because they're only the second region in Mexico that actually allows for abortion to be legal, following Mexico City. Now this also comes as the president of Mexico, AMLO, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, actually passed a bill or pushed for a bill to be made that basically will allow for amnesty for women who are incarcerated for abortions. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. So in New South Wales, Australia, that's Australia's most populous state, their lawmakers actually passed a bill that essentially, they passed legislation, that ends a century-old law that made terminating a pregnancy punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Now this legislation allows for an abortion to take place up to 22 weeks of pregnancy or later if two doctors agree. So I guess it's progressive. Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Sign that petition, y'all. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. He continues to put us, U.S. troops, people abroad in danger without any regard. Doesn't care about sharing all sorts of misinformation. You can find that change.org link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or go straight to change.org. Look up the joint signed by Bishop Grady. Lays out with irrefutable evidence why he should be taken off. Now, just keeping y'all up to date with this, what I would call a war on immigration, an attempt to greatly reduce migration from Central and South America into the United States, right? So Honduras has actually signed an agreement with the United States that basically says anybody who passes through Honduras seeking asylum will have to seek asylum there first. Guatemala signed an agreement with the U.S. back in July, basically the same type of agreement. And El Salvador just signed an agreement like that last week. My whole thing is, ain't motherfuckers trying to get out of Honduras? Like, aren't we banning them and taking away their TPS status as well? Like, so doesn't this, it just kind of doesn't make sense. It's some band-aid shit. You know what I mean? Green Wall and Graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this BFN report. Up there in Chicago, you had thousands of Park District employees that actually voted today on authorizing a strike. And they will be doing that, and they actually are demanding higher wages, equal pay, more affordable health care, and benefits for part-time employees. Now this authorization is coming as they're actually a bunch of Chicago Teachers Union, the Chicago Teachers Union is actually wrapping up a vote today on whether or not they are going to cause a work stoppage that can start as early as October 7th, where they're demanding lower class sizes and more staffers. Same time, there are 7,000 unionized school staffers that are actually considering going on strike as well. So this week they actually had a labor march protest rally situation that happened. And of course, you know, 2020 presidential candidate Bernie Sanders was in the building. Green Wall and Graduation.